Bonjour, y'all, and welcome to Of Venus, the freshest astrology channel out there, brought to you by me, Oli Andre Olar, a newish astrologer from the, as you can see behind me, middle of Transylvania. And it is my pleasure to bring you our special guest, the Hoya Bachu Forest, one of the most haunted forests on the planet and one of the most famous paranormal hotspots, so called window areas. So if you see any shenanigans behind me, do let me know. Why another astrology channel? Well, my intentions are twofold. First of all, alongside astrology, my spiritual practice consists mostly of an animist worldview. What does that mean? Nature, basically. It is one of, if not the most ancient um, way to interact with the natural world, to see everything. These trees around me, each and every one of them, every leaf, you can't see, but there's so many spider webs around and huge bloody spiders on them. See each and every one of these aspects as an extension of source, and each and every one of them as a person. The sky, each river, each blade of grass, each thought, each archetype, each otherworldly entity, everything, each object. It's basically like, it's not time that moves independently outside our control. It is us that move through time because we're all alive. The sky, the stars, the planets, they all speak a language. And through that language, the language of astrology, we can be in communion with all the other intelligences that surround us. So, with this channel and how it will evolve with each subsequent upload, it will be about how to communicate and integrate every polarity. That's what the 3D is about, to navigate oppositions and to integrate them in our life. Not to be against the tides of time, not to be against the things that happen in our lives, but and not to dominate or uh, throw our will over fate, but to see fate as free will and free will as fate. So, astrology from an animistic point of view. That's first. Second of all, let's talk more about the lesser known aspects and the more geeky parts of astrology that no one really wants to talk about. Squares, oppositions, inconjunctions, sesqui-squares, semi-squares, conjunctions. Also, again, the shadow sides of trines, the shadow signs of sextiles, the shadow signs in each of the planet, both ancient, both modern. We're going to talk about evolutionary astrology. We're going to talk about the ancient. We're going to synthesize these polarities, the extremes, to make it feasible. Let's open up a conversation about the distance between points to see the void as the womb of love, to honor both life, love, and death in equal measure. What I'll do with each subsequent upload is each video I'll talk about one lunar phase. So the lunar phases are 8 in nature. They go from the new moon to the full moon and to the new moon again. So we're gonna put our attention equally to each and every one of them, not just the new moon, the full moon, and the waxing waning squares. We're going to highlight how each and every one of them unfolds in a natural sequence and how they all teach us how to integrate all tension into our life. So every lunar phase lasts between 2.5 days and 3 days. So expect an upload every 3 days talking about the lunar phase in question and the aspect it highlights, and other aspects exactly the same as that lunar phase happening at once on the sky. That is the introduction. Now let's talk about the full moon. At the date of this upload, the moon will be in Aquarius, making an exact opposition to the sun at 11 degrees of Leo. This is a full. And why make a first video at a full moon? Why not make it on a new moon and start fresh, like with intention? This is what I want to highlight on this channel. You can start anything you want in life at a full moon, at a dark moon, whatever, just so you know the energy that gathers and swirls around it. So I intentionally wanted to make my first video on a full moon to show that this too is a starting point. Each and every day is a starting point. Each and every day is an end point. That is the lesson of today. So, moon will be at the 11th degree of Aquarius, as well as the sun will be at 11th degree of Leo. What does a full moon mean? Just gonna put my glasses there. Every sign in astrology has an opposite. The opposite of Leo is Aquarius. Think of it this way. When the sun is in Leo, and this is tropical astrology, so this is going to be about the northern hemisphere. Shout out to all my Aussie friends in Aussie land where you have midwinter. All the love to you. We're talking mostly about the northern hemisphere. So right now the sun is in the fixed fire sign of Leo, which means it's at the middle of summer. And from Earth's point of view, we'll have the sun at one point of the sky and then the moon in the exact opposite point of the sky in 180 degrees between each other. That's what a full moon is, simple as that. So this is an opportunity to notice how midwinter manifests in midsummer. Most astrologers and most information you'll find on the internet will state that the full moon is a culmination point, a point of the extreme, the point where the flower stem blossoms into life and everything's at peak energy. You put your intention in the new moon, 2 weeks later you get the result, the blooming of that intention, and then you let it release itself going back towards another beginning. It's always, but if we just work with the new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon, it's just stop, start too much. We get lost in the cycles of time and reality, and that's the trap if you just work with new moon, full moon. But let's see this culmination point of the full moon in a completely different light. In pop culture, there's a saying, it's a full moon out, everything's gonna go batshit local crazy, ambulances ringing outside, dogs barking, everyone losing their mind. Actually, everything's more hectic on a waxing square moon, the first week from a new moon, where because that is a 90-degree angle between the moon and sun, that is uh, the aspect aligned to the lesser malefic planet of Mars. So everything's like accident prone, crazy stuff happens, people lose their mind. It's very volatile, very violent, very dynamic, friction, tension based time. But a full moon is 180 degrees between the sun and moon. So that is an opposition. That is tension. That is of the nature of Saturn. Saturn is the opposition. Saturn is the the guardian at the threshold, the it in the Chaldean order. Saturn is the planet in which every object, sun, moon, earth, every other planet is in its orbit. It encapsulates time. The Chaldean order is basically some fancy way of saying the planets you can see with your own eyes at night: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So, when an opposition happens, you have to work in a Saturnine way with the energy. So, on full moons, contrary to pop culture belief, the most holistic approach you can take to integrate the tension between sun, source, and moon, soul. So basically, the moon will reflect completely the sun's light, unmasking our subconscious, shining all light to the hidden parts of our psyche, making all things visible. You integrate that tension by taking a step back, working with Saturnine principles. So instead of being swept in the high intense energy of the opposition, try this on the full moon. Take 2 steps back. Sit in silence. I guarantee you, everything you were thinking of, everything that was plaguing your mind, the results, reality, the universe, nature will find a way through all its symbolism to give you all the answers you ever needed. So full moons are exemplary for doing in quantum physics, doing the observer role. So this full moon will happen at 11 a.m. around that time EST, and it'll last for 2.5 days up until the 7th of August at around 9 a.m. EST, up until the moon will make a waning sesqui-square to the sun. We'll talk about that in the next upload. But until then, we have 3 days of a full moon energy, of the Saturnine opportunity to integrate the teachings of nature and in ourselves. So instead of being swept along in with the tides of time to see how, time goes too slow, time goes too fast, know that you are the one that moves through time. It's not time that moves in front of you, it's you that moves through time. So work with that. Know that you, because you're alive, you're decaying, right? Each trees, they're all here. They're all going through time in their own way. So that's all we do, because we are spirit souls. We are infinite energy condensed into material form. We decay. Time is immovable. Like Saturn, it's the wall. But we move through it. We decay. We let go. We transform. We transition. So, what can Leo learn from Aquarius? What can summer learn from winter? Whatever your intention was at the new moon at 28 degrees of Cancer, the new moon wasn't in Leo, it was at the last degrees of Cancer. So think back the last 2 weeks and notice how, in an abstract way, you already have what you were looking for. So I invite you all to work in this Saturnine way. Sit in stillness. Invite objective reality to manifest itself. Wholly, unobstructed in its purity, in its simple, void-based essence in front of you. And I challenge you to not even think, just receive. It's a full moon that you receive the light, you receive the information. Now is the time to get the answers you are looking for. Look and see. That's the hidden secret of summer. At this time, when the sun is in Leo, the night is starting to expand. The days are growing shorter, but the nights are getting longer. Even if the day is longer than, that is not a UFO, that is actually a plane. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. It's good to hear planes though, with all the craziness that's happening. Even the forest here is full of cobwebs, full of overgrown everything. It's like nobody's been in here for a while. It is such. It's time for nature to regain its feralness with all the royal aplomb, with all the capstack going on. But coming back to the sun in Leo. Whenever there's a full moon, you get reflected the opposite seasons gifts that lay inside the actual current season. So the nights are growing longer, days are growing shorter, even if the day is longer than night. That's the essence of summer, basically. The sun is at home in Leo. Each planet has its home sign, its home ruler. So this is the time when the sun is at its most powerful. Heat waves, dog days, it's all very sunny, you know how summer is. But summer teaches you, the sun teaches, it lets go of its own power to let everything else have its spotlight. At its most brightest, it's letting night come in and sharing the wealth, sharing the throne. Sun, that represents, in all ancient cultures, it represents the source point of creation, already has everything in itself. It is both male, feminine, good, bad. It's everything all in once. It's day and night. So sun always rises, goes up on the south, the southern skies, boils like a furnace, and then sets to the west. Lets night rule its dominion. That's what true Leo is. It's sharing your divine creative energy with everything around us. It's not just me talking, it's the woods talking with me too. It's everything here talking. Everything has a spirit. The clothes on me, rings, everything else, it's all completely alive and a source of light. Yeah. So, summer is actually a very death oriented cycle. It knows that night is growing. The yin part of the cycle is beginning to slowly but surely win over the yang. So even if this is a fire sign, it just shows that infinite fire is in service to everything around it, to the void. That's what Sun in Leo learns from Moon in Aquarius. It is without community, without us living in an being conscious that we're living in a network of smaller suns. Everything's light, everything communicates with itself. Yeah? We're all talking about the upcoming age of Aquarius. We're all just focusing on that. But why not? Let's focus on the age of Pisces that's going away, right? Let's celebrate that. I know it was mostly shitty. It's still the Kali Yuga, right? But we can't go into a new paradigm, a new era in human consciousness without closing everything else with utmost honor and reverence. We're all talking about Aquarius this, Aquarius that, all around the globe. But if we're not teaching ourselves to be accountable for our light, what we emanate, what we create, the networks that will be woven between us will still be based on extreme individuality. You know, Aquarius, or if we go to extreme Aquarius, we'll just become an insect-like hive mind that has absolutely no comprehension of in you know originality, authenticity. So let's not go headfirst into the age of Aquarius without really getting the essence of Leo. We don't need to go extreme in either way. Extreme individuality with Leo and extreme uh, generalization of community on the other extreme. So if we really, really want a healthy society, we need to temper Aquarius with Leo. So this is what the full moon brings. It brings an opportunity for us to marry Leo with Aquarius. There's the same coin, different faces. Summer is when find the essence of winter hidden beneath the summer. Everything's decaying. We're halfway between spring and autumn, right? Everything is, the sun is always dying each and every day. It rises, it sets. Give credit to the transformative process of death in everything you do in life. Nothing is completely eternal, but at the same time, everything is completely eternal, each and every moment. So if we want to integrate, if we want to integrate interdependence in our lives, really resonate with it, and work towards constant and just constructive that was funny what's it called, excuse me, it's a very DIY raw punk first video, right? Co-creation. Exactly. There we go. Perfect. Bravo, Oli. Yes. Wonderful. So, I invite you to see the beauty of winter hidden in summer, and to resonate with this full moon by stepping back and letting nature and reality show you everything you already know in your subconscious. See it all unfold in front of you. And let's highlight the another opposition that is happening in the sky right now. Mercury in Cancer at 27 degrees, opposite Saturn at 27 degrees of Capricorn. Just like Sun and Moon, Mercury is as the Moon, Saturn as the Sun in this case. So this is the tension between these two archetypes. So they're facing off, not seeing how they're part of the same system. On one hand, there's the Saturnine triplicity that is in the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn, which is basically what's happening around us: the panic, the pandemic, everything else, just the outer circumstances of our lives. Let's move beyond that, the outer circumstances of it all, and how that is opposite in tension with our mental abilities to gather information, transform it, and then release it to the wider world. With those intentions, let's release some of the pressure. If you feel too much inner pressure, too much from all the feral reality of it all, just be honest. De escalate the pressure cooker inside yourself. Open up. State to the world, state to your partner, state to your friends and family, like, this is gnawing at my thoughts. This, I'm struggling with this. This is too much for me. This, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about that. And when you engage and accept the tension, it will open itself up to you, and then you can transmute its negative energy into negative is essential in this. Saturn teaches us that it has its divinity woven in it teaches through tension. It teaches you what hurts and what to let go of. So if you feel mental strain, why not tell someone else, I feel mental strain, I feel this way? Just expressing the tension will help it transform, will help it just move into a different space. So I invite you all to release. That's what the full moon is. We're going through increase and then to release. So let us all communicate about how we truly feel inside and not put too much concrete. We're already diamonds. There's a point where if you put too much pressure on a diamond, it will crack and you're just left with dust. What's the point? Don't go into the extremes. Find the middle path. Find the merging in the tension. So that was it. That was my first video. Thank you for being here. It is so much fun. It is the first video. It's more, it feels DIY in the phone, in the haunted woods, but it's so much fun, right? It's so cool. So you can find me on Instagram at of_Venus. You can contact me there. I do readings where I merge polarities and I bring the holistic animistic point of view in the chart, just to merge all elements, find common ground between all shadows, celebrate the empty spaces, turn void into growth and growth into void, so it can bloom itself into wonderful, better areas and avenues. So until I make a website, you can find me on Instagram, and it is a pleasure to make this first video on YouTube, and here's to many, many other more, and see how this evolves. The forest says hello to you too. Yeah, own your freedom, celebrate both life, love, and death in equal measure. And I'll see you all in the quantic field. Cheers, everyone.